Outer Orange.
Today, we are going to go over set 5 meta. All right, fam, this is set 5. We're pretty deep in at this point, so there's plenty of stuff to look at. I do think Raziel is insane in this format. I think this deck's like really strong. I feel there hasn't been much discussion about what is the best deck in the format. A lot of people think it's Lyle. With Odium specifically, which I disagree. So I still think it's Overdress, which I also disagree on. I truly think it's Raziel just because of how impactful it is. But let's go ahead and kind of look through and see what's even going on outside of the popular decks, just to see what's happening. Keep in mind, they do have a collab called Love and Barry that's kind of changing the format just a little bit because some people are really trying their best to play that deck because that deck is also really good. We are probably not getting that, and if we are, we're going to get probably a little bit later. So let's go ahead and run down. So let's go starting with Dragon Empire. Java has a form of marker removal into Overdress, so there is a Java list out here. I will not lie, I can't tell you all the combos. I just don't know this deck that very much, but if you are a big fan of Java, it's actually not a bad time to pick this deck up as long as it's not super expensive, but it does do some stuff. If you're into this deck, you always want to play it. It's a good time to pick it up into set 5 because apparently it does kind of combat the meta a little bit. Did pretty well, got second place over in Singapore, so that. Got Tamayura. Got some Tamayura list here, so I think Tamayura stays about the same. Probably just going to show this one. There's a new lyrical card. Ooh, that's exciting. But yeah, there's that, and then we have Odoji. So Odoji did get a little bit of like the slap of the wrist, but it's still a decent deck. I think it still can perform. It's just a little bit weaker. Some are running this guy, which is just the festival card. Some are running the lettuce card instead. You can just kind of throw cards and kind of call it a day for that. Then we have Shiranui. Got like 2 ban lists, and it's still somehow doing semi-decent. I do think it got significantly weaker with the new changes, but hey, people are still taking it, still doing decently well with it. So you probably could pick up Shiranui. We've got a bunch of Varga. Now Varga did get the new Varga guy, which is like just basically I guess a stronger version. I don't really know. I don't play Varga that much. I've been hearing a lot of people saying it's okay. My opinion is just probably a deck that's good enough to take because it just is relying on Vanguard, and you just kind of do Vanguard and kind of hope for the best. That's kind of how what Varga's always been doing. It's just going to continue doing that. That is a very popular deck as well. People obviously took quite a lot, so here's sort of what you may look like, what a list might look like. So, isn't this a Koro card? Oh no, it's a reprint. It's a reprint of something else. One singular Alcalibro list, which is just a guy that we got in set 4. I don't know if he got any new cards. It doesn't look like it. It looks about the same from my perspective. So yeah, there's him. Go to Keter real quick. So I got one singular Bastion. I'm surprised this deck is breathing still because it doesn't feel like it's doing much. But there is, I think, a new great here. So there might be something new there. Alden, I think, is a little weaker going to set 5. Just by a margin. Still good, but just weaker. Because I think Raziel is just the better pick of the two. But if you're an Alden player, you can still play the deck. It's just a little bit slower, in my opinion. Or just a little bit slower, but just a little bit less. I feel like you have like your cool turn, and then things just kind of fall off after that. Also, you very want to sing this grade 3, and if you don't, this deck is just a lot worse to play. But we got some Luard. I think Luard is actually still a good contender if you have your Luard deck, and you're like, man, I kind of want to play it. Or you don't want to like invest super hard into like the current sets. You can actually just play Luard and be okay. It still just does what it does best, which is make big numbers and have an annoying guard restrict. Your opponent only has 1 snake in the deck, so you can only handle it so many times. Got a lot of Raziel in here. This is just there's just so much on in terms of Raziel. I think for the most part the deck is figured out. The people really like the Cogwalla build where they run this with the dog. Kind of just deck filter as much as you can, and basically just play into the new Raziel, and you just kind of goes from there. I haven't been playing the deck, but I've been playing into it a little bit here and there, and also I kind of know what regular Raziel is already doing, and new Raziel just basically amplifies that. So it's just better version of the old one, like is the best way to put it. So I think this deck is definitely gonna be a deck that I'll probably be testing even harder once we get more cards for it. It is interesting to see how much the build is. Right, we ran all the cards that kind of help you scribe, but I think this card still does. But and Biscotti, of course, but then you also see the Codwall, an interesting change in deck list. You have another Raziel list. I think this one's basically the same. Yeah, it looks like they're the same, just a little bit differently. Got Real Armarta, so this is Lyle, so if you're interested in playing the old Lyle, you still can. There's a deck list running the grade 3 Medallion. I do believe this deck actually has some sauce in it. I don't think it's as bad as some people may think it is. Obviously, there's so many good Keter decks that, you know, this one's probably kind of falling off for people, but I actually don't think this deck's that bad. And then we have the love deck. I'm not going to go into it, but the love deck is basically kind of the weird, funky looking doll stuff. A lot of people kind of make fun of this deck a little bit. I actually think it's kind of cool. It's very different. It's definitely not, you know, your typical Vanguard deck, but what it does actually is really cool. Like the way it plays, I haven't actually played it obviously, so I don't know everything, but I've watched it. And it is a very hard deck to fight. So if we ever get it, it's actually going to be a competitive deck. I don't know what Barry does. Barry's a little bit different. I've been noticing some lists up and running Barry, but I don't know much about Barry, so I'm just going to show you guys. Going to Brandt Gate, we do have some Seraph Snow. This deck shouldn't have changed too much. It should be about the same. If I'm looking at here, it does look exactly to be that. It doesn't look like this list has changed at all. We got some Orphist. I do believe this deck is going to be good in the future. I think the future for this deck is really going to be strong just because we're getting new cards. And I see a world where this deck gets better. It's also pretty good. It's running the dog thing, promo box topper thing that we got. Got an Ava deck here. Ava should be about the same. Playing Ava, your list hasn't changed unless you wanted to change it. We do have the new Bat stuff, and there's quite a few lists for this one. Honestly, it's a very easy deck to build. So if you've already had the deck, you're not upgrading too much. We're just getting some new cards, which is this grade 2 that restands once per turn with the grade 3, and then we have the new grade 1 that lets you get more orders from the order zone, which also makes the deck significantly faster. So there's this guy. There's quite a few small different things you can change. You can run the penguin, as you can see here. This guy's running the penguin in this list, so you can kind of move some stuff around. But for the most part, it's a pretty standard list. I don't think this one's running Persona. Honestly, I kind of vibe going Persona lists. I kind of vibe. No, Persona is kind of fire because some people cut heals. I think this list cut heals too. This list did cut heals. It's 7 front and 8 crit. That is so funny. I'm very excited for that. We have a Miku deck. So Spellstra is Spellstra. It has, as far as I know, it hasn't changed. It's got the elf. I definitely up-talked this deck for a while, and now I'm kind of like, yeah, struggling a little bit. Struggle. It's not bad. Just we got Rotovisor. So if you're into the Rotovisor stuff and decide to join us, I guess you like Rotovisor too. But if you're into Rotovisor, here's a list for that. It's basically like Nova Grapplers. We got Archite, a little bit of Archite. God, we have so many ride lists. What is happening? There's so much random stuff. So again, monster package if you want to go the monster route. And then we have Dayusha, we have El Paldio. Dio just, I think it's pretty standard for the most part. Let's go to Dark States. We have one singular Bruce. Here's a Bruce list for y'all out there. I'm covering up the new Barrow, which is better than the old Barrow, but still a little behind. But I do think the Shenri clone kind of helps a lot, so maybe we'll get it. And maybe this deck will have some sauce. Who knows? We got Jejuled. I think Jejuled is actually pretty good. I don't know if it's running the Shenri clone. It's not. It's just standard because we have the grade 1, and I think the list itself hasn't changed so much aside from the grade 1. But I think the deck's actually kind of saucy. I will not lie. We got Greedon. Now I hear Greedon actually might be better this upcoming step because of this Jet. Not 100% sure. Jet's been kind of in this weird area where it's been kind of the same, but I think with the Shenri it might actually be even better. You get to draw more. Maybe you can cut out some of the energy cards to be able to draw more. Got a bunch of Blackmire. Blackmire is still like the annoying deck. And now you have the access to Shenri, which is I think a big plus because the deck really likes to draw. You really want to draw, you just don't want to overdraw, but you still want to draw because this deck can deck out randomly. It has a really good OTK. Undrolled, I think this deck's actually really good. Like the issue is just a little bit of a time issue. It has, but honestly, this deck is the cards that are given to it are good. I was kind of iffy about them at first, but the more I start playing them, I was like, they're not terrible. Don't you find pieces? I don't think you need the counter charges that much. I know it can come up, but I think you're fine. People can kind of try and choke you out, but I think you're fine being choked out. Like it's not the difficult because eventually they'll give you the damage, and then you can just kind of go from there. So I don't think it's that bad. Here's another list. I like that list a lot actually. Here's a different one. This one's slightly different, but it's about the same part. Unless anything too different. Basically, people cut out the Ride Line Girl, which is the grade 2. The one I'm seeing, the one that goes put something in hand and draw for this girl. And I think that's basically the main thing that changed. And they cut back the grade. They basically cut out the Ride Line cards for the 2 new. So it seems to be working. At least it looks like it's doing well. And like I said, I think the deck has definitely some. Looks like it's the same person that did both again. I think that's good. I might be bringing it back. I just think it has a time issue. That's like the Bailey. We got a bunch of Lyle. This is like a very, very, very popular deck. Just here, I finally spent some time on this deck. I haven't tried this guy here. I believe this is a step 5 card. I haven't tried this guy, but I've tried. Actually, this card isn't. I haven't personally tried this guy, but I've seen some people try him. I've been kind of keeping the build more standard, where basically just running like 40 cards. But maybe I'm not. Remember if I don't know what I'm running in spot of this, but I'm basically the cyclers. I'm running the grade 2 soapbox cyclers. Let's try to remember like what's different about my list. So I'm running the cyclers. They're not. But every other thing is here. Basically basically a cycle. This deck just draws a lot. This card's pretty insane, I'm not even gonna lie. This card's really good. I will say there are sometimes where I'm like, man, I feel like I'm not doing anything, but that's how I felt so far. I've seen, so for the most part, people have a relatively standard list. Not too different. Some are running like these cards. There's some differences here and there, but for the most part, I feel like the main core of the deck is the same, and some people are changing out certain things. I agree with the doll. Like the doll's a really good option. The doll's great. I think this card just gets pretty good numbers. Especially since this is a 3-attack deck outside of Divine. Got Stoicheia, we got Claudine. This deck actually is getting some new sauce. It's pretty good. There's that. We got Zorga. Zorga actually, over on the NA side, is actually performing pretty well. So, play Zorga if you want to. We got Leonorn. Leonorn has been doing well. This is the great tool. The Stagger clone. If you play Nord, you can still bust top 5 Call Dude. That. And then, otherwise, it's interesting to see this card. I don't know if it actually helps the deck or worsens. This new card seems really good. Also, really cool art. I'm hoping we get this kind of soon. Big Stoicheia fan. It's an order card. Stoicheia loves orders. I kind of want it, ASAP. Got a bunch of Overdress, another very, very popular deck. This one is definitely a pilot-driven deck. I've talked about it a lot, but it all depends on the pilot. The build is about the same. Some are running orders. I like running orders unless it's a Regalia's piece. I get the reason for it. You kind of want to find certain cards because this deck doesn't draw that much early on, and it doesn't have the luxury to run cyclers either because your main engine uses a lot of energy. It's maybe this grade 2, like it's nuts, but it uses energy, so it's very conflict with what you're using your energy on. Because of that, you have to negate drawing early, which kind of sucks. But yeah, this list is actually probably the easiest list to upgrade if you already own the deck. This is like a super easy upgrade. You just get the new guy, you get the musketeer, and then you are basically done, and you get the new fairy. That's basically it. It's nothing too out. There's that. We got Night Rose. We are getting Night Rose kind of soon, but so here's a general list. Up to you how you want to build it. This is a toolbox deck, so you kind of build it in multitudes of ways. I've seen some people run the roaming prison dragons, some people not running. Some people run the hostage package here actually. This deck can revive perfect guards, which is really, really good with the hostage package. If your opponent can remove it, Kyrie should be almost exactly the same. This deck does not change for a little bit. It's just a matter if you want to run the odd hit order package stuff or not, and then just basically place that. Got Michu. Michu is still good. It's still been a good deck. You can just randomly kill you just with all the numbers. It's a very bursty deck. So it's basically what I like to look at what Orphis used to be. Look at, we got Charm Out. I think Charm Out's really good. Very obnoxious. Makes really ask for people all the time. It has a little bit of a hand issue, but still very aggressive. Flaming G, which I'm actually really excited for Flaming G. I think this deck was very fun to play. We did get a new Flaming G card. This card right here. It's very important because the name really matters. The name is super important. So we got the new girl. Got the grade 1 that you can play. I don't remember what this one does. I think this is just shield. Not shield. Does something. Let's see what it does. It's very pretty though. But this is when one of your units with Moon Gene's card is attacked for your circle cost by this card. Choose one of those cards add to hand. That's awesome. So you get to basically get your cards back. Good. So you bind or get your cards back. That seems really useful. Otherwise, the deck's about the same. You just have more Flaming G cards and just a more consistent package. Trying to do, so that's also really exciting. There's that, and then we have First Rain, and I think this is a Flaming G card in here. I don't remember it having like a second effect that was or anything. Let me double check. So it says no, they're running Flaming G cards. Like, oh, I guess it's just to keep adding the same card back to hand. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. You remove this and then add it back to hand. Yeah, I guess it is. I guess it's just to add more cards back here. Really weird. So they're in the Flaming G package. Kind of cool, actually. At first, I thought I was missing something, but I guess they're just running it to run it. I don't know the full synergy with that, but it looks cool. The Cat Girl, she should be about the same. There's a new grade 1 that people are running, which is right here. There's a Twitter list as well, so if you guys are curious. So this one's running a little bit of that grade 3 package. I actually kind of like this. This is very. I'm gonna read. Just because I really like this. It's just something different. I like different stuff, and I think all these cards like to call themselves out or get a board presence going on. So I can see a world where these might work. So I have to see. I'm actually gonna send this over to my friend just because he's a big fan of that package. We're finally getting the new 1-drop order, but some people aren't even running it. It's kind of this list is running it. Another guys, I think that's it. We got some Vispo, but we still haven't gotten this. So there's really, and then we got Kurokoro, but we don't have Kurokoro either, which is unfortunate because I actually think that these decks are. But that's it for this. Overall, quite a lot going on. As you guys could tell, there's a lot happening. They did have a lot of team events as well for these. There's just a lot going on during this time, so we have a lot of decks. I think Raziel and Levage are like the top of the top, and then after that, it's kind of up to you what you want to play. There's quite a few like secondary solid choices aside from those two. And then after that, there's kind of like this open, there's an open set of decks where you could just kind of play any of them and you'll be fine. You just have to be a little bit more cautious of Raziel and Overdress and Lyle probably, because those decks are stronger. And you just have to be mindful of that going into matchups if you can handle with handle those matchups with the deck that you're on. And also Stride decks, I think Night Rose is kind of up there as well to kind of keep on the lookout. That's basically it. That's the entire meta. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope it was fun. Hope it was supportive. Thank you guys that shop. CodeOrange if you need any goodies or anything that you may need for Shadowverse or any other thing. Decide to just Vanguard. Use my CodeOrange to save money. Got a bit going on. We got the holiday season. He's got the Black Friday sale as well, so you can also check that. I think it's about to end, but I don't know. I think it might be going a little bit over. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe, comment. Trying to get those to 5K. We got exactly a month to get there. So yeah, peace out, guys. That's Daniel. Bye.